gentlemen, out of Mound, Minnesota, at 218 pounds, he is the great Greg Gagne.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's a Wednesday, and it is February 19th, 2025. I am here today with the boss himself, Magnum TA, and I'm also with Greg Gagne. It is Straight Talk with the boss. Magnum, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great.
Awesome.
We got a little snowfall here in Charlotte, North Kakalaki, and it's pretty outside right now.
Man, yeah. Wait till it starts raining or it starts melting, and then it gets gross. And we've been dealing that in Pittsburgh, but I know, Greg, you've been dealing with constant winter up there in Minnesota.
Oh man, it's been fantastic. 35 below wind chill yesterday.
My God.
But today we're at about 5 below wind chill.
Oh, what a cakewalk.
I can see the winds coming up, so that's going to drop pretty quick. Our pipes are froze up. Otherwise, we're having a hell of a time.
Man, I want a postcard from Minnesota now. Just send me a postcard.
I'm going to tell you a quick story.
Okay.
We used to live when growing up on this Lake Minnetonka here in Minnesota. It's a suburban and a beautiful lake. And my dad used to go to these Indian powwows in the summer, and he'd wrestle there. And they awarded him this buffalo coat. And he'd put it on and go all the way down to his ankles.
Uh-huh.
So then in the wintertime, after he'd do his little workout, he'd put the buffalo coat on, and the lake is froze. And he'd walk across the lake 2 miles and 2 miles back. All he had on was his boots, pair of jeans, a T-shirt, and the buffalo coat, and his hat and gloves. And he'd come home and be sweating his butt off. That's how warm that buffalo coat was. So then one day he sends it up to the dry cleaners to get a dry clean in the summertime, and we get hit with a tornado, and the coat's gone.
Oh.
And about 3 weeks later, they find it in the lake. Some fisherman found it, and somebody said, "Oh, geez, that's what Vern Gagne's been looking for." They picked it. It had a few tears in it. And they took it up and they tried to sew it up, but it never was the same after that. But I still can see that picture of him. I was probably only 12, 13 years old, of him walking across the lake in that wintertime. It'd be like this, 35, 40 below wind chill, and he'd sweat.
My goodness.
And that's how those buffalo coats were so warm. And it must have weighed 35, 40 pounds.
I bet.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
My goodness.
So that's my story for the day.
I want me a buffalo coat now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man.
It'd cost you a penny, I'm sure.
It definitely cost you a penny for
sure.
Jeez. Man, let's get the sponsorships going on this thing. That I want to get us all some buffalo coats. Shout out to everybody in the chat here. We got Triple E, we got CB, Eddie Prather. Charlie's in the house too. Good to see him. Eggsy Trek Jedi is in the house as well. Shout out to him. I think I screenshotted one of your questions from last week, so we'll get to that too. And Hunting Victor, the documentary. So, here's a question. We'll just hit off right off the bat. Hunter asked Magnum if he still has your fur jacket. Do you still have your fur coat, Magnum?
No, I don't. A collector down in Louisiana decided he was more fond of it than I was, and I think I only wore that jacket literally less than 5-6 times, because kind of like Greg's story. The thing was so warm. It was long-haired coyote. Whoa. And it needed to be 0 to wear it, because if it was like 30 degrees and you put it on, you felt like you had a heating blanket on, literally. So no, I sold that coat about 15 years ago to a gentleman in Louisiana. He still got it, and I think Cody's got his dad's back from Diamond Dallas Page, so they're both in good hands. But if I had it, I still couldn't wear it because it's just not practical. I mean, it was the same thing. It went all the way down to my ankles, and it probably weighed 25, 30 pounds too.
Holy smokes. Man, Cody should bring that fur jacket back at some point. I think walk out.
Well, it's not politically correct anymore, so it's kind of a weird thing. Too many people, are so the PETA people and
Oh yeah,
yeah,
people will go after you.
all
They go
the
nuts.
folks. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised I don't get heat for wearing leather.
I can't believe you would worry about that.
Yeah, well, I don't worry about it, but if somebody came and threw something on me because they didn't like what I was wearing, I wouldn't like that very much.
Could you imagine too if some people gave Cody a hard time for wearing that fur coat? Social media would go like, "Oh, why is he wearing coyote?" Like, what the heck?
Well, again, it was the '80s, and his dad and I bought those coats when we were in Vegas at a guy named Ray Lenoble fur shops, and he did all the coats for Liberace and the world boxing champions back in the day, and that was just a thing. I mean, fur coats were that was a prestigious deal back then before everybody got real touchy feely about what you were infringing on to have it.
Right. So wild stuff. So like I understand, like, yeah, I wouldn't go out and buy a fur coat or nothing like that too, but it's just people getting up in arms about all that stuff is still wild to me.
Well, I go back to that day, when the mountain men, they, like you said, the Indians, and they killed the buffalo and they ate it and they skinned it and used the hide, and it was a practicality thing. So
yeah,
I think life would be a little bit better if it was more simplistic like that anyway.
Right, much more.
I had my wife up in Winnipeg. They had a guy up there that I got her a beaver coat.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, it was just absolutely gorgeous. And she wore that out a couple of times. And about the third time out, we went into this restaurant. And some jackass started giving her a hard time about the coat. It wouldn't let up. Went on, and finally I had to get up off the table. And I went over there. Hey, listen, pal. We can do this a couple different ways. You can shut your mouth, or we're going to step outside. Well, who do you think you are? I said, I don't think I'm her husband. And you're making fun of it. You're giving her a hard time. So let's go outside. So we went out, and he went to take a shot at me, and I got him right on the jaw, and stiffer than a board.
Boom.
Walked back in. Everybody gave us a clap, and that was, great night.
Great. Did you hit him with the drop kick? Is that what you got him?
No, I hit him with a good right hand.
Oh,
right on the chin.
Sweet. Lay the law down, Greg.
Got to do it, don't you, TA?
It used to be more common than we'd like to admit.
Yeah.
I guess I got to ask, Magnum, have you had like confrontations like that with fans, like when you were a wrestler and everything like that?
Never a fan,
No.
And really, and not too much anyway, because I mean, you could fuel one of those things if you just wanted to, and
sure,
you could get in a fight every night if you wanted to, or you could you could defuse it. And I wasn't one of those angry drinkers. I mean, I like to go out and have a few beers and have a good time at night after we'd done our thing, and I really wasn't like looking for that kind of trouble. So I had a lot of that before I got in wrestling. I was a bouncer working security, and then it was a daily activity, and that's one of the reasons I pivoted out of it and got into wrestling, because that was not going in a good direction for anybody.
Did you wrestle in high school or college, TA?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Old Dominion, right? Old Dominion.
Old Dominion. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Now it's coming back now.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can tell you the story. You'll enjoy it.
Let's see here. So we got some good questions. I did I'll do a couple of the ones from last week before we get into some talk here about some news events and what happened on Raw and all that stuff. Let's hit this one. Eggsy Trek Jedi, Mr. Gagne and Mr. Magnum. Did either of you ever wrestle Dick the Bruiser or the Crusher? I figure you guys have, but wanted to hear some stories.
I never wrestled against them.
Yeah.
They were, by the time Dick, both of them had turned by the public, made them babyfaces just because they were tough guys. But I never wrestled against them, but we got some funny stories about the Crusher for sure. And Bruiser, him and my dad went at it one night in in a hotel in Chicago.
Really?
It didn't last too long for Bruiser.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Vern was pretty tough.
Yeah.
He didn't back down from anybody. No, but they were great personalities. Crusher, he'd come in with the sunglasses on with one lens out and a cigar, and from brawling the night before and dancing with the big 250-pound Wanda doing the polka.
Doing that polka.
Yeah, but they were both quite the personalities.
Absolutely. He really spoke to the city of Milwaukee and everything like that.
Everybody related to him. He was, just a working man's type guy.
Yeah.
TA, you probably never ran into those two, did you?
No, they were, and I didn't break in till 1980. So, they were already in that final phase of their career. And of course I just didn't work up in that area. So, to your point, they were baby faces. You didn't see top tier baby faces in main event matches back then. Anyway, that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. Interesting characters for sure. Well, I'm sure we'll touch upon them throughout as we continue on with the show and everything like that. But pretty neat guys that, you can certainly make comparisons with somebody like an everyman like the Crusher, and then see how a persona like that and an everyman kind of transformed into somebody like Stone Cold later on in the Attitude Era and stuff.
Right.
And set that, kind of
the new era Crusher type. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So pretty neat stuff. How it all kind of ties together. Let's see. All right. I guess we'll cover this. Greg, I sent you 2 articles right before the show. Some news broke regarding over the past couple of days. Magnum, I don't know if you saw it too, but Tiffany Stratton did not show up for Logan Paul's podcast. It was revealed. Logan Paul revealed that on his show. Backup guy was Michael Cole. Well, it so happens that there was a little story between these two potentially that happened. Where let's see. So it started off that something cultivated where Logan Paul approached Tiffany, and then Ludwig Kaiser, who's Tiffany's boyfriend, maybe allegedly went to defend her at some juncture or something. But claimed that she was in trouble and hinted that she was flirting with Logan Paul. And Stratton shut down those rumors. She said, I think I heard him say that I was flirting with him. No. I was not flirting with him. The man came up to me and told me he could teach me a little something because he sees himself in me, which is complete BS. And then she added, I feel like I'm much better than Logan Paul. He may have all his fancy camera crews and his fancy moves, but I definitely think I am better. I am nothing like you, Logan Paul. So some intriguing stuff here to start. Non-wrestling I don't think we're storyline related because it's they're on different shows and different brands and everything like that. So Greg, I wanted your reaction to all that kind of stuff.
Well, Tiffany's Tiffany. She's going to tell him the way it is. Yeah. And some of the things she said, I mean, to me, Logan Paul, in the short time he's been in, has been spectacular. Mm-hmm. And Tiffany's done an excellent job too in a short time.
Absolutely.
But it goes back to the training they've had and where they've got that, how they're pacing themselves through the organization here. And they both made headlines quicker probably than a lot of other people had. But she'll give you a peace of mind, which is, it's good in some aspects. I'd sent her a message, I don't know, a few weeks ago when she won the title, congratulate her. And I said, look out for Charlotte. Keep an eye out for Charlotte. And that's before any of this came above. But that should be a good match.
How about it, huh? Tiffany versus Charlotte Flair, WrestleMania.
I don't know who's going to come out on that one. I would think Charlotte would, but we'll see what happens.
It'll be interesting.
A little more experience.
Yeah.
A little?
A little?
Yeah.
A little bit more?
Just a little bit.
That's the understatement of all time. I'm just looking. Logan Paul, 27.2 million followers on on Instagram. If I was her, I would try to get a little rub off of that. That I mean, I would play that for all of his work. Whether they're shooting or working, it's kind of impossible to tell. I think probably a little bit of both because I can see Logan saying something like that and saying that he sees a lot of himself in her because she is just kind of exploded out of nowhere. And he did the same thing, but he's had the opportunity to capitalize on it much more than she has here to date. But not to say where it might go in the future. But I think it's always good to blur the lines of reality. If it is a halfway shoot, even the better. Just stir the pot a little bit, and it's good to see those competitive juices flowing, and from a woman that's not afraid to stand up for herself, and nobody's handed her anything. She's gone out there and busted her tail to get where she's at, and she didn't have to play second fiddle to anybody.
Man, and you think about it too. If you take a step back and you kind of look at it, Tiffany talking about this and not going on Logan Paul and all that. So I agree with you. That's like if you get an opportunity to have that big of a platform to be on, and why not, say what you have to say, even to Logan Paul right then and there. You could kind of confront it all and air it all out there. But the thing who indirectly benefits from that is her boyfriend, Ludwig Kaiser. You think about it too, because you can't help now but associate Logan Paul with him, even though they're not involved with one another in a storyline aspect. So
yeah, and the only thing about all of it is still I can't wrap my head completely around is I still like a clear line, the fan favorite, the who's the heel, who's in what lane. And it was like when Charlotte came out there and Tiffany had it handed to her. She's laid out.
Yeah.
And it is like Tiffany, even though she cashed in Money in the Bank and got the title the way she did and everything, she's still not really like there's a lot of Tiffy time, people that like that, but she still comes off bratish enough to get people to have disdain for her. And Charlotte's clearly embracing the possibility of, being in that lane because she can play it either way. It doesn't matter to her. But you wanted to feel, it's almost like you wanted to feel sorry for Tiffany because she's got, this multi-time world champion, come back after a long furlough and in the best shape of her life and, calling her out on the grandest stage that she's ever been on. And you want to feel sorry for her, yet she's still portraying herself like little Tuffy Tuna. And so if she does somehow get it handed to her, it's not quite going to have the same impact the way that it could. And I think they miss opportunities like that. I mean, there was no doubting the other night with Finn Balor and Seth, who the people were behind. And I like it when it's it's clearer like that, and the guys that really can kind of find their persona and stay on it, stay in it, don't have any wishy-washy agendas about where they want to be. And I think it's easier for the fans to get vested in the storyline if they feel passionate about wanting to see somebody getting their ass kicked.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to create that delineation of like who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. And I know too, it's like Charlotte seems to really be now embracing that heel role in this dynamic. But it's like to your point, and like Greg, what we've been saying too is like Tiffany is the natural heel in a lot of ways, and she's been portrayed that on television, like in recent.
Right.
So and there's not. Yeah,
well, it's like who's got the greatest heat in WWE right now when they come out there is Dom and the New Day.
Right.
They can't either one talk because people are so pissed off, at them for whatever the reason for. They've got real heat, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
and that draws money.
It does draw money.
Yeah.
What do you feel about Eddie Prather's in the chat here? I want to give his thoughts on this. I want to see where this is. Okay, so he says no to Charlotte, referring to WrestleMania. people don't want to see Charlotte. And now there's kind of been a little bit of a contingency of that when it comes to like thought process on Charlotte returning. Oh, we want new people. We don't want this. I think Charlotte just still is a star. She's just like elevated to a level that's, that a lot of those women wrestlers aspire to be at. She's one of the 4 horsewomen. Like, so you got a Becky Lynch, you got a Bayley, you got Charlotte. And then who's the 4th one? There's a 4th one I'm missing too. Somebody else.
Trish Stratus?
No, not Trish.
Well, Sasha Banks was in there.
Sasha, thank you. So that's why I'm at Mercedes.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, so the 4 horsewomen there. So it's like, I understand maybe people don't. There's ardent fans that might not want to see her again in this position, but I think she's money. Like, and she sets the bar. She's,
Yeah, I mean I'm sorry, but somebody just saying no, that's so one-dimensional. That not wanting to see one of the greats of the greats go out there and mix it up with new talent. That's what no. Do we want to see? Do we want to necessarily see a Charlotte and Becky Lynch, replay? Now I can see that. No, we saw that on the grand stage, and the Ronda Rousey angle, and we've seen all that. But Charlotte mixing it up with this new genre, this new group of people, and showcasing, bringing them up to another level,
right,
by doing that is just good for it's good for entertainment. It's good for the business. Everybody wins.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's an aspect like, yeah, I can understand maybe some ardent fans that are like, okay, we've seen Charlotte win this and win that and being in the main event picture, but this is a new crop of talent that's coming into play, and somebody like Tiffany Stratton. I mean, man, you sign me up any day to watch that match between those two.
Well, it was interesting to me because, Charlotte was getting booed pretty heavily.
You're right.
When she came back.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Tiffany's down on the mat and Charlotte pulls up the chair and sits down and says, Tiffany, I'm picking you, they cheered.
Mm-hmm.
So, the
so they
fans
don't like Tiffany more than they don't like Charlotte.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Exactly.
But see, I would love personally. And again, it's all just episodic. But I would love to see Charlotte take the title from Tiffany, and then I'd love to see her right in a program with Jade Cargill, and bring Jade like way up, and let them have a long program, and eventually let Jade take it, because she is the showcase of what a female superstar, that if you drew one out of a comic book, could not be better than. And there's certainly been champions with way less skill sets than she currently has that have been champions before. And it would just be a way to stir it all up.
Is she coming back soon?
Yeah, and even if it wasn't long lived, it would just be, it would be cool, because I can picture that confrontation, right now. And they do. Yeah, they need those different matchups, and frankly, Jade needs somebody like Charlotte to lead her. Charlotte is a heel. Charlotte in a real embracing the heat situation where people want to see her get beaten. Boo. Yeah, that could be fantastic.
Absolutely. And like, I know Jade is green, no pun intended, but I think she has that star quality. And like, there's so many stars and talents that have been put in that position, in that main event kind of like primary position, that aren't necessarily like well accustomed to the ring. But if she's got a dance partner like Charlotte, and then you put her up with other talent to kind of help her out, like Bianca has been with her and everything like that, the sky is limitless for her. So what a great kind of rivalry that would be.
Well, they've got a great roster, great ladies roster up there. I mean, the girls are, I think, phenomenal. I mean, so are the men, but it goes back to the training they're getting, and they've got it down.
Well, they're coming out of NXT ready for it, is what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see Jordan Grace blow into NXT and just level everybody, and them standing shoulder to shoulder with the champions? I mean, she didn't show up like a leader of that group. I've never seen it. I mean, she came. You know,
And now they got another TV show coming out on A&E,
Right.
and that's showing the kids going through the original training.
I watched it the other night.
Did you?
Magnum, I didn't get to see it yet.
I didn't either. How was it?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to be received with fans. I mean, it is. They got the Undertaker on there and
Shawn Michaels.
With Shawn, of course, but they're doing the coaching type thing. They're having teams and they're going to have to create some intrigue with it, because just the sheer mechanics of it's not going to be enough. There's going to have to be some some kind of drama to make that piece be something that you want to see what happens next kind of deal on it, because it's it's different than the Tough Enough. I mean, because obviously these are guys that have been in the system for a while in the training facility. They're not like newbies. So they've taken people that have been down there working out, some of them maybe for 6 months or a year, and now showcasing them kind of in this little, competitive light, trying to get, their coaches to, give them some guidance and help, take them to the next level kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Legends and Future Greats, the show is called, LFG for short. But yeah, I saw one clip that went viral on there was Bubba Ray talking to the one. Yeah, talking to the one guy about that kind of thing. And that you're talking about some drama. There's some good stuff to sink your teeth into there.
And he's old school, and it's a shoot. And he is passionate about the business, and to his point, they're going to have to earn his respect. The guy wanted to shake his hand. He said, I might shake just coming in. This isn't howdy doody time. You're going to impress me to make me want to know your name and know what you're about. And it's good that everybody just wasn't just like nicey nice. I mean, Booker T was cool and Mickey James was cool, but he was definitely the hard-nosed guy.
He was the bad cop.
Yeah, and they need that, because if not, it'll just be milquetoast.
Yeah, you need to create that dynamic, and Bubba Ray certainly presents that. He's a polarizing figure for many in wrestling. So it's a.
Well, who was that one? The big kid, the football player that looked so good that
was that the one that kind of looked like Roman Reigns, and he kind of had it, but he cut a really good promo. I saw.
Yeah, there's one fellow on there he's dating somebody that's in the business. His girlfriend is in the business, and he's come out of football. But I mean, there's a couple guys in there you can see they're going to go. They're going to have this little showcase piece, and then you're going to start seeing them.
Oh my gosh, man! I can't wait to tune in. I gotta catch that episode. I know I'll probably get invested into something like that, because I like all that kind of stuff and the inner workings of it all. So before we move on, I did want to follow up too from last week. We talked about Ricky Starks showing up in NXT, and he showed up again to sign his NXT contract. We finally got his new name. It's Ricky Saints, in ties to his New Orleans background and everything like that. So pretty cool. Magnum, did you get to catch a little bit of his promo there that he did, and what did you think about that?
I did not. I just saw the stills of it. I didn't get to actually hear it. For some reason, NXT will get preempted out here. If sometimes I don't know what the deal is, but
it does here too.
Does it?
Yeah, it must be the network that is on here. But anyway, I just I think he's just got all the potential in the world. They put him in the right stable. He's a main event, Monday, Friday night material right now.
I know it's pretty exciting. NXT was an exciting show this week. They had Moose show up and stand face to face against Oba Femi, who's the big champion. That's like, man,
wow. He's huge. I didn't realize how big he was. So I saw Moose, because Moose is not a small guy. And
no,
he was like, he was 20 pounds bigger.
Yeah.
He was a monster.
And then to your point, we saw Jordan Grace, and she really showed out in her match. And then Hardy Boys are going to be next week. They're returning, and putting their tag titles, the TNA tag titles on the line. Pretty neat stuff.
Yeah. How about that triple threat match the other night? Did you like that one with LA Knight?
Oh,
and McIntyre.
Yeah, I thought that was good. So it was LA Knight. It was McIntyre. It was LA Knight versus The Miz, right? Was that the one we were thinking about?
No, it was LA Knight, Jimmy Uso, and McIntyre.
Oh, so that was 2 weeks ago. That was not.
Was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I was scratching my head.
I can throw these away then.
Those are old notes.
I sat there and watched the wrong show.
Oh, you're killing me.
Oh, shit. Well, I tape them, and then I go back, and this freaking TV of ours freezes up.
I will say that was a good match, though.
I got so pissed off. MediaCom called him up. I said, this is insane. It freezes up, and it freezes up like for maybe 3-4 minutes at a time. And then it comes back on, and then get to another great spot, and it freezes again. Same thing in the Super Bowl. So I was screaming at him. So I said, it's about time this geek goes every single day. And I'm paying you $120 a month. You better knock something off. Oh, okay, Mr. We will do that. $3.
$3.
I got on the phone again. What the hell? And I'm screaming at him. So Flora got the bill yesterday. We're up to 20.
Oh my God!
So funny. Oh,
this is the feud of this is the WrestleMania feud here.
Jesus.
Greg Gagne versus the cable companies WrestleMania.
Well, see, then what happens if I'm gone and I tape and then I come back and I get one that's 2 weeks old? Boy, I had my notes down. I did a hell of a job.
You did a great job.
From the top to the bottom.
That was a good episode of SmackDown, though. I will say
that was good. Yeah.
It was a good episode. They were just a little late.
Little late. Well, when you get my age.
But yeah, things are shaking down here a little bit. We had, like we said, Tiffany versus Charlotte at WrestleMania, and now that main event, that the Elimination Chamber is set, and that everybody involved is just a main eventer. Like it's Seth Rollins, you got not Cody, but you got CM Punk, you got John Cena, you got Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and then one more. I can't remember who the sixth.
Yeah, that's a. Who's going to come out of that one?
That's a tough one. Magnum, if you had to make an early prediction, well, not early because it's only a week away, but what's your prediction? Who would you like to see face Cody?
Of course, the sentimental deal. You want to see John Cena, have his last hurrah kind of deal. They're going to do whatever is going to be the most intriguing thing. Because you got to have intrigue in those main event matches. So it just depends on how they tell the story. I don't know what their end game is, and I love John's interview where he said, it's not that I want to be 17 time world champion. I want to win the championship so I can shake the hands of the man who's an 18-time world champion.
Yeah.
I mean, what a babyface thing to say, and just kind of guy that he's represented himself to be, for his entire career that I've watched. And I've never heard anybody that could say anything about his work ethic or his contributions to the business or what he did for all the Make-A-Wish kids over the years. And my gosh, so if there's anybody that deserves it, just flat out deserves it. Probably him.
That's what I think too.
Yep.
Yeah, he's done so much and made so many people aware of wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, he stood out. What's Flair's got 16, and Cena's got 16. I think they got to break it with Cena.
I'm just trying to picture what it looks like, Cody and Cena.
Yeah, well,
it just doesn't.
Doesn't ring a bell, does it?
Doesn't have a ring to it. No. I mean, it's a babyface match, and I don't want to see a babyface match in my main event.
That's an issue too. That's the issue too, is because we saw it how many years ago when it's Cena versus The Rock, and both were babyfaces.
Well, they had Rock and Hogan, right?
You had Rock and Hogan, And the crowd turned for Hogan in that match. But then you have when it was Cena and The Rock, Cena came out like the babyface in a lot of ways. Like The Rock had to kind of swim upriver almost because Cena was dropping some, was going toe to toe with him on the mic, and then even kind of surpassing him a little bit on the mic when it came to some of the content that he had. So, like, I could only imagine that, you have, it's such an intriguing matchup, I think, though, to have those two. But you could be putting Cody in a tough position if you want to continue him as your top babyface, going up against a veteran legacy babyface like John Cena. It's a tough predicament to kind of
because there's guys sitting there counting that merch, and all those things, and they're going, the bean counters are doing this, and they're looking at ratings, and they're doing this, and they're going, man, we want to go run this truck in the ditch over here and see if we can get it out, or what do you want to do? So, they're almost in a position where they can do no wrong because they're such masterful storytellers. They'll turn it and twist it and whatnot. And if you had something just absolute monstrous to do right behind it, to put some serious steam on somebody, like this little Jacob Fatu guy, who's just a madman, because I could see him I could see Cena having the championship and him just destroying him to the point where he would have to give the title up, never lost it, could not even come back and defend it. I could see that kind of action with him.
Ooh, see, that would be some good heat there too, man. To have something like that happen, holy smokes, that would be.
They've got so much talent there, and great talent.
Oh yeah,
there's so many different twists and turns you can do with everybody.
Yeah,
but Jacob, boy, he is coming on.
Yeah, well, they haven't scratched the surface. He's just he's just got it all in front of him. If he could keep his head on straight and stay on point, he's got it all ahead of him.
If they brought the title back to him,
yeah. Well, the current rumor is for the WrestleMania, it's going to be him versus Solo Sikoa is the early talk right now. They kind of been. So I know you didn't watch this week's episode, Greg, but they teased that.
Maybe I did. Throw it out there now. If it's coming back to me,
Oh, you would have remembered.
You drift once in a while. It's good to be drifting more often.
You would have remembered because it was Fatu taking on Braun Strowman, taking on Damian Priest in the main event. So it was a heavy hitter. I
didn't see that one.
Yeah, so that was a heavy hitter one right there.
God damn it.
Yeah, so dang it. Call your cable company, get another $20 knocked off the
Oh, jeez. Well, yeah, and I tape them and I go back and that one came up and they're all good. And I looked at the, I thought the date was right.
So is it you have in that great bustling metropolis you live in, you only have one option?
Here, where we're out in the suburb. I mean, we're out quite a ways from Minneapolis. It's a little town called Long Lake. We're right on a lake here, but it's an older town. These are old townhouses built in the early 80s. And the pipes freeze. You don't get your cable. You got to go out back and pump the water
with your buffalo coat on.
Yeah,
with the buffalo.
So no, but that's why I'm looking for a new place. I think I found one yesterday, but I got to wait till I get through the surgery before I make the move.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's
brain transplant also. And my luck, they'll give me an old one, a really old one.
Oh man. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay, we got a super chat here. Shout out to Ty Claude. Thank you for the $6 in whatever that is. I don't even know what that is. He says, do you recall a failed promo and its lesson? So you doing a failed promo that you did and what you kind of learned from it. Magnum, let's start with you. Did you ever do like oh man, that was an awful promo and what can I learn better from it? You had a good guy in Dusty, but
so many thousands of promos. I can't really. I can't even remember a specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because literally, and Greg's the same way. I mean, we used to do, interviews for town specific, for all the places we were going. So, I mean, you'd go every week, or we would every week. We do TV, say, like on a Tuesday night, and then Wednesday morning we'd go in and start promos like at 8 o'clock in the morning, and go 5 straight hours of promos, and then get in our cars and go somewhere, or get on a plane and go somewhere. And it was just, that was just part of the deal. Now I don't really even recall a specific thing that just went off the rails, or had to have wanted to take two or whatever, because I was usually so fired up and pissed off that I didn't remember what I said anyway.
Right.
Well, an interview is if you can relate to the people that you're talking from the heart.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, and believe in what you're saying. And everybody messes up once in a while, but like TA, I mean, they were 5 hours. We were like 7 hours doing interviews. Yeah, we had a lot of markets we had to do. How many markets did you have to do, TA? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but I mean, I don't ever remember anybody having to take two ever anywhere. I mean, from Florida to Mid-South to Crockett's. I mean, everybody could talk. I mean, it was just talking was that was the fun part of the whole thing, because you weren't having to worry about getting your head knocked off or anything. And it was just, and usually you were jousting, because usually the heels would do their, would maybe go do theirs for the town, and then you'd come in behind them and do your spot for the town, so you could play off each other.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was, it was fun. I mean, it was always like a little fun game going on that nobody was smart to but us. But and we did that same thing when we were doing live on TBS. I did have an altercation one night in a club in Virginia. Now that I remember you asking that question earlier,
just one,
and a guy had jumped on me because his brother had run at me, and I'd hit his brother. His brother had gone down. He come running behind me, and when I went down, I drove my fist into the concrete, and so my hand was all like just like horrible.
Jacked
But
up.
anyway, the next day I was shaking my fist at the camera, referencing the match that I'd had with Tully, because I'd worked with Tully that night in Richmond, and Tully was just all over. He said, "Yeah," he said, "You didn't do that on me." He said, "You did that on that guy you beat up in the parking lot."
That's great. Oh man,
fun stuff.
It was fun to watch the interviews too, because each individual was so creative.
Yeah.
We had, Dusty was one of the great talkers of all time, and we had Mad Dog Vachon and the Crusher, and you're always wanting to see what they were going to say. You never knew what was going to come out of them.
Yeah, right.
Crusher would come in with the sunglasses on, one glass broke out, and hair messed up, and partying and drinking, dancing with Wanda all night, and then going to his interview. But it was very entertaining. But you're always there, and you'd watch a lot of them. I'd watch all of them and listen to them, and they were so unique. The most of the individuals, some of them needed help, and they would cut it, and the newer guys, but the veterans, oh my God, some spectacular interviews.
How fun was it to have somebody like Gene Okerlund do them and stuff like that? I saw like a lot of the clips where he's in WAF and he's like wisecracking in the outtakes with Kamala or whoever it may be, and it's really, really funny stuff. Was he kind of like that too with you guys during those interviews?
No, he was more serious.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Vern didn't like that dinking around in the interviews. Be serious about it. He wanted the announcers to deliver it, as a professional sport.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be comical about it.
Right.
But McMahon's, they had a whole different philosophy at that time of what wrestling was and how to portray the individuals. So right. Gene fit into it with them because he was a character.
Some of the stuff he was saying to
Oh yeah, he was a dandy.
He was like he just throwing shade at Kamala for showing up late and making mentions of that. And like Kamala's dressed up all in his outfit and everything. It's just, oh my God, so funny. You guys got to see it. Well, let's see what else. So here's an interesting question from Stamps. Stamps asks, what is the oddest gift a fan ever gave you during your wrestling days? Greg, let's start with you. Is there something weird that a fan gave? Not a
The
buffalo.
oddest gift.
Yeah.
I didn't get that many.
No?
No.
You were.
I don't know. I guess one girl gave me her panties one time.
There you
A
go.
little box.
Your girls wore panties?
Not my. Yeah, gave her my panties. Yeah. Yeah, a little box. Opened it up, and there were the panties.
Wow. That is a gift.
Yeah.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
about the.
Oh.
I guess that's about the oddest one I ever got.
I would say that's a pretty good
Yeah.
one. That's a pretty good one. Magnum, how about you?
You know, I don't recall anybody ever giving me anything. To be honest,
Really?
with you. I mean, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. I mean, I got a lot of letters and things like that, but I don't remember anybody like sending anything like unique or whatnot. During those days, it was so fast paced, and you were in and out of places, and you really, I mean, you had contact with people to a degree, but if you consider like every place we were going, was probably averaging, anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 people, at a show, you were coming in contact with a very small microcosm of, what was really there as far as any kind of intimate, be able to actually talk or say anything besides signing a few autographs and whatnot. It was, afterwards, of course, we were out and about, that would be different, but I'm sure there was some interesting gifts that never got to me. I think a lot of stuff went to the office and they divvied them up. And
Yeah.
maybe had a little party with or something.
Well, my wife didn't appreciate it at the time when I forgot to take it out of my bag, and she took my stuff out to wash it, and there were the panties.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
And,
man,
and you were trying to tell her that story that, and it was
yeah.
And I got the box
It
here
didn't go
somewhere.
over too good.
Fans are crazy. I don't know. I just gave me panties in a
I
box.
said, I don't even know. This gal threw them, and and you put them in your bag. Yeah. Well, she didn't talk to me for a couple of weeks after that, and anything I said, she didn't believe. So it went over really well.
Man. Greg got in the doghouse.
Oh, big time.
Big time. Man. All right. Well, yeah, I hear like a lot of it. I think I was reading Bret Hart's book too, how, they'd always get gifts and stuff like that. And, it's hard, like people give them out to you and then it's hard to keep them because you're traveling around. So it's a lot of the times, unfortunately, you get thrown out or they get set aside or whatever. And that's it. But, yeah, some interesting gifts, I'm sure, on the road and out and about. Here was a book. Here was a question from last week. Let me pull this up here. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay. It's the top one here. Larry Johnson. We mentioned Vern's got a book out. Somebody wrote a book on Vern. You can purchase that now on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. I'll share the link down below. But Larry asked, will Greg ever write a book on his life in wrestling?
Will I what?
Will you ever write a book?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They take a long time.
Oh, yeah.
To get out. And with my memory, I might put stuff in there that nobody's ever heard of, even me, but it'll be in there.
It'll be in there.
Yeah.
It could be
I
like
don't think so. I saw the hard work that went into the one the kid did for my father, and I should have brought the book back down again today to plug it. But it's time consuming, and I got a little heat because on the forward or the acknowledgement, the writer put he wanted to thank Greg and Laura And then my kids got it, and they weren't mentioned in the book at all. So,
Well,
yeah. I said, well, I didn't write the damn book. The guy wrote it. They came with him and George Shire came over here. George is a historian, came over here and did an interview. It was like 6 or 8 hours. And Laura fixed him dinner. So, you know, he put the acknowledgement. He wanted to thank Greg and Laura. And of course, my daughter, you know, what a slap in the face, Dad. You talk about a slap in the face. I was chewing him out about something. We didn't even make the book. And Grandpa spent so much time with us growing up. And I said, Gail, I didn't write the book. Click.
Wait, so was it the author's acknowledgments or like your acknowledgments in the book?
No, it was him. You know, it was
in the forward.
In the forward, yeah. So it wasn't you acknowledging, right?
Yeah. But
I don't know.
So she didn't talk to me in a week. She finally talked to me the other day. But
there you go.
Yeah. You can never win in those things.
Magnum, would you ever write a book?
No.
It's tough. It's a big kind of thing to kind of delve into.
It's too big. It's too self-introspective to try to dig back in all the this and that, and it's not just what happened. It's trying to remember, why certain things happened, or why certain decisions were made, or it's just too many things about it that you couldn't do it justice to really, let somebody kind of see inside the back side of it, because everybody, I know myself, like when I was before I got in the business, I saw these guys on television and I envisioned, a lifestyle, and I thought they just wrestled when I saw them, or maybe or 2 or 3 times a month, or no idea that this was a 7-day a week, multi-time a day, sometimes, never ending circus that everybody was part of. And the reality of it is, most of us love to perform, but most of us also, came to just the travel be a grind. And like these kids today that are tremendous performers, but should be just so thankful that they work for companies that care about their having time to take care of themselves and their health, and things that all go part and parcel to allowing them to be the best version of themselves, because it wasn't always like that. And and I absolutely at times just despise the thought of getting on that plane and throwing all my stuff in that bag and just going from place to place to place to place to place. And consequently, I was fortunately not one that got into dark addictive behaviors that many did to try to like ease that pain, but I felt what that was like, and it was not a pretty thing. And I would love to have the schedule these guys do today. I mean, if I ever had any, even regardless of what I think about how they have to go about doing it, I would firmly embrace that tenfold over going back to do what I did at the peak of what I was doing when I was wrestling 11, 12 times a week and going, sometimes 90 days without having one day off. Yeah, it was brutal, and we didn't have little happy summertime breaks and all that gaga that Greg got to enjoy because his dad was a decent human being. We were out there in all that we knew. This is what we knew the business to be. So I don't really want to. I don't want to relive all that. I like reliving the memories with people, how those times made them feel, what they shared with their families and relatives and different things from their past and all that. But delving down deep into the daily grind of it, I got no desire to do that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's a very, I mean, geez, even just hearing the stories that you guys flying and constantly traveling and like me, I get this very, very small sample of doing it like 3 times a year or something like that. And I like it exhausts you for that amount of time. So to do it over and over and over again and just
Well, and just thinking that the show is the most important thing. I remember before I made it on top wrestling kind of in the middle of the card, and in Florida, I'm getting on a plane with on a charter plane in Florida, and I think Bob Backlund was in town, and I can't remember everybody was on the plane, but we're taking off, and we get up and we're making our ascent out of Tampa, and smoke starts coming out of one of the engines. And we're going, this probably isn't good. And we're watching, and I'm watching the pilot, and his shirt is instantly like drenched in sweat. And he's on the headset, and he's doing all this stuff, and he's trying to turn this thing around to make an emergency landing back where we just came from. And he gets it turned around as we're coming in. The other engine went out, so we come in, just glide, boom, land it, boom. And we weren't on the ground 15 minutes, and Eddie had chartered another plane, and we're all getting on another one, going off, do it again. There today, you would have to be in counseling, and you would have had to had a group of people there come there to check your your brain
faculties.
waves, and so see where you're at, and we're back up in the air in 30 minutes on another one.
That's crazy.
Life and limb to the show must go on at the Jackie Gleason, auditorium in Miami.
In Miami. That's great.
Well, that was like the night when we came home and Mad Dog opened the door. That's
My God, yeah.
6,000 feet, and he's hanging out the door. It's so peaceful. I feel like flying tonight. We thought he was going to jump, but then the pilot had to make that landing and put that wheel down. He said, if the wing hits, man, we're going to flip over. So, fasten those seatbelts.
My God.
Yeah, it's, and then you go get on the next one and do it again.
Do it again. Do it again.
We had this when the first pilot we had, he flew for North Central Airlines, and he flew in the armed services, Air Force, and he'd fly through everything. Jesus Christ, there'd be a big storm, big thunderheads. He'd fly right through the middle of them. And we'd be bouncing all over the place. Guys would be pale and sweating. And, you finally get down and you're kissing the ground. And then you got to get back on the plane and go back. And he'll find another storm and fly through it. You never go around him. God.
Let's go through it.
We finally had to get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, geez.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Well, Ty follows up with another promo question. How do you prepare for a promo? Any insight on Dusty? Did you get from him too, the Magnum? So, Magnum, is there a certain way you would prepare for a promo?
Dusty really didn't influence my promos. Bill watched it.
Okay.
Bill helped bring out the intensity of the Magnum character as it was being developed, and it got me in this heated feud that I was in with wrestling too, and showed me where it helped me find a lane I was really comfortable in. So Bill Watts, besides all the countless other things to do with the profession that he was a major influence on my life about, he's the one that got me dialed in there. Dusty didn't really mentor me like that. He might talk to me about an idea or an angle or something that we were going to do. And I mean, Barry Windham and I were riding up and down the road with him the night the Midnight Rider came to life, and and when Starcade was born, and all those kind of things. But as far as telling you how to go do something, that really wasn't his style.
Yeah. Interesting. Greg, how did you prepare for a promo? Was there in a certain way? I know you get.
No,
I remember the advice.
Vern said, "Be yourself."
Mm-hmm.
And when if I'm wrestling TA, talk how you really feel it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Let it come out. Let your feelings come out. That's what the people want to hear.
Yeah.
And be sincere about it. And if you're going up against Mad Dog, I mean, here's the worst guy you can get in the ring with. What's it going to be like? Well, I know it's going to be a battle, and hopefully, come out of it okay. But I'm going to give it everything I possibly can and take it to him. But you had to be sincere in what you were saying, because that's what the public, that's when they can relate to you.
Mm-hmm.
So don't try to be somebody you're not, and be who you are, and just feel that match, that it's a match, it's a contest. And what are you going to do?
Yeah.
If you're playing football and you're going against the other team and they ask you what's it going to be like, and they're the best defensive team you've ever been up against, tell them what you think it's going to be like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, so, and let your own personality come out. Don't try to be somebody you're not.
Yeah. 100%. Good stuff, Greg and Magnum. Ty does follow up. He says he meant any insight on the way Dusty prepared for a promo is what he was curious about.
Dusty prepared? That's pretty funny. Yeah, Dusty was a stand-up improvisational genius. He may have thought some things in his mind in some personal solitude time, but there was no. I promise you, everything that came out of his mouth was completely spontaneous. From the Hard Times promo to you name it, it was just who he was, and he was a student of lyrics, Bob Dylan and different things in pop culture that he drew from. He read a lot, and he kept up with current affairs and what was going on in mainstream things, and he drew from all those things.
Yeah,
is what he did. I mean, he was very, very in tune with the public and seeing and thinking about what the average man struggles with every day, where he could relate to that, because he grew up in hard times with his dad dying early and his mom bringing them up, and excelling in athletics, because that's what it took to elevate yourself. And so he was able to dig back and had a lot of personal things that were just very applicable, and he could deliver them, and he drew so many things. I would love to have been privy to hearing him and superstar Billy Graham going back and forth back in the day, because Dusty he loved those angles. He worked with Billy, especially Madison Square Gardens, back in the day, and he used to talk about them very fondly. And I know when he brought Superstar in to work for the Crockett's during that last run, there was just a huge respect between those two guys, because they'd both been to the big show together, and hanging out in Studio 54 with Bette Midler, and all the who's who from back in the 70s and 80s. My gosh, and those are the guys that could have written the books.
Oh, 100%. Oh my gosh, yeah. Jeez, tell me about it.
Dusty and Superstar were in the AWA at the same time.
Man,
and Murdoch.
And Murdoch too. Jeez,
all three of them. Yeah, they were classic interviews. And then you go on. The Crusher would kind of related to the average guy, the beer drinking guy, and talk about the bar fights and the dollies that the big dollies he was dancing with, and people would relate to that. And Mad Dog, you believed every word he said,
right? And
what he said, he did in the ring too.
He did in the ring.
Yeah, you had to be aware of him.
Yeah,
but those are the people that really draw money, because they related to the public so well. And the best way to do it was in your interview.
Yes.
So that would either, a lot of times, would make you or break you.
Yeah.
A lot of guys were great in the ring and they couldn't talk and didn't draw a dime.
And today that can still kind of hold.
And there was guys who could do a great interview, couldn't work in the ring, but got over and made a ton of money.
That's it, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Yeah, that was really good stuff. Well, this, Magnum, anything updates on Powertown or anything you want to give or insight happening?
We're greatly anticipating getting the Remcos here. Getting that line dropped. We've made some huge strides on our new Galoob line. which hasn't been introduced to the masses yet. But hopefully we'll have some things we'll be able to show here in the next couple of weeks, and that's going to be kind of a new deal for us, because the smaller, static figures like they made back in the the late 80s, early 90s, I guess even in the 2000s for WCW. So it'll be cool to see how that's received with the public, and got some things in the works for the TNA group as well.
Heck yeah, that's great. Fantastic. So guys, keep your tabs, scan that QR code. You can go to powertownwrestling.com. Be sure to bookmark that, and so you're on top of everything when it comes to that. As far as anything else goes, you can visit onetsport.com or under that new address, and you can get yourself a Greg Gagne hoodie. Stay warm up there in those below 30-degree weather. Get the High Flyer hoodie and a mug. Make sure you stay warm. It's no buffalo coat, but it's still there. It's snowing down in North Carolina right now, so you can also get a Magnum TA hoodie if you want, and get a mug there too, plus plenty of other merchandise. Scan that QR code. We got a good Magnum collection, got a good Greg collection. More to come in 2025 with that as well. Want to thank people in the chat for the kind words they're saying about me. I appreciate all that stuff. So I wanted to shout out to that. Thank you, Triple E and Ty, for the kind words. But anything else that goes on? Let me think. No, that should do it.
That should do it?
That should do it, I think. Yeah. Oh, check out my brother Marcus. If you're in Pittsburgh this weekend, IWC, he'll be in a Survivor Series tag match.
Really?
Yeah, you will be.
Are you the special referee for that one?
I am not. I might be on commentary for it. I might be
on commentating.
So we'll have to wait and see what that is. But me and him had a little promo today, so that was a lot of fun. Look out online for that.
Don't forget the Vern Gagne book.
Don't forget the book. Yeah, the link will
Barnes
be
and Noble.
Yep, Barnes and Noble or at Amazon. I'll be sure to share both links down there for this episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, get the word out about Straight Talk with the Boss. We are now on Believe, so you can so that will help us get some little ad stuff going on. But just type in Four Horsemen Network on your podcast feed of choice. Hit subscribe, give us 5 stars on Spotify or iTunes, and help support the show in that manner. So we'll have to do this again next week. Plenty more to talk about. This was a fun one. Didn't expect panties in a box. Didn't expect buffalo coats. And I'm sorry about your cable bill, Greg.
I'll try to catch up on the episodes.
Yeah, try to get the right ones maybe next time.
Now I'm finding out not only do they blank us out, they're giving us a week behind.
What the heck? Well, we'll be all caught up by next week. We'll see you next week here. That's Magnum TA, and that's Greg Gagne. See you guys next time.
So long, everyone.
There you guys.